Today I'm going to brew up this Brewer's Best beer kit, German Oktoberfest. It's kind of a cool kit if you want to brew your own beer. These Brewer's Best kits pretty much gives you everything you need to brew your own beer. Got some hops packet, caps for your bottles, some grains, malt extract, your priming sugar, yeast, everything you need. Even the instructions, step by step, on what to do. It's a piece of cake, it's a no-brainer, anybody can do it, and it's fun. And about a month and a half later, you got your own beer that you made homemade, and it's really good. So let's give it a shot. First thing I'm going to do is get my sanitizing solution ready to go. This is what I use right here. Just a tablespoon of this in a gallon of warm water, which I got a bowl over here in the sink. It's a gallon-sized bowl with warm water in it. You put a tablespoon of this in there. It's like a white powdery stuff. And you just dip whatever you want to sanitize in that. Instantly sanitized. You don't have to rinse. Just dip and go. You don't even have to let it dry. It's pretty good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. That's that. Takes a few minutes to kind of dissolve. It's kind of grainy. Alright, let's see what all we need to get together here. We definitely need this thermometer. Thermometer so we can get our temperatures. Okay, we will need, I got my box of brewing stuff. Fermentation bucket. We'll sanitize that. All right. We'll sanitize that one. We got some spare time while we're boiling. This is about a 3-hour process, 2 to 3 hour process. Okay. Let's see what step 1 is. Okay, first thing we need to do is steep the grains, which they give you some grains here to steep. It says pour 2.5 gallons of clean water into your brew pot and begin to heat. Pour crushed grains into the grain bag and tie a loose knot on top of the bag. The appropriate steeping temperature is 150 to 165. Steep grains for 20 minutes. Okay, let's find our here's our grain bag. This is basically just a mesh bag that's open at one end, tied off at the other end. and that allows the grains to stay in the bag, juices to flow through. Now the reason they want you to steep the grains at 150 to 160 is because at higher temperatures does some sort of adverse effects on the grains that they don't, it'll make off flavors in your beer and whatnot. So 2.5 gallons of water so we can steep the grains. I got 2.5 gallons of water in the pot, a brew pot here, and I'm going to put the thermometer in and get it up to about 155, 160, right in the middle of their range. And then we're going to steep these grains for 20 minutes. All right, we got the water up to temperature here. It's about 155. So we're going to go ahead and put the grains in the steeping sock without spilling them all over the place. Probably can't see none of this because I'm in the way, but I'm going to do it over the pot so the dust and stuff will actually go in the water. Just like that. That's what it looks like. Once this is done, we just throw the whole ball of wax away. Every kit comes with a bag, so we don't have to worry about trying to save it or anything. I kind of loosen it up a little bit in the sock, that way it all gets wet.
Question other people's parenting techniques, but I'm going to question other people's parenting techniques here.
That's we'll steep 20 minutes. Set the timer. Okay, here's what it looks like when the grains are steeping. About 160 degrees there. Just a big mesh bag full of them grains. I kind of roll them around a little bit. And you don't have it boiling or anything, you just have it up to about 160. Just hot enough for the grains to release their sugars and whatnot. Still waiting on the steeping of the grains. Another 7 minutes left to go. I went ahead and sanitized the fermentation bucket, so it's ready to go. Sanitized, cleaned up. So 7 more minutes and we're going to start brewing some beer. Well, our timer went off, so our grains have steeped for 20 minutes. I went ahead and drained, hung this above the pot, let all the water drain back into the pot. So we're done steeping the grains. Don't need that anymore. What we're going to do now is go to the next step, start the boil. Bring to a gentle rolling boil. When you get the water to boiling point, then we're going to add all of the liquid malt extracts. We've got 2 of these, and we have a dry malt extract. We're going to add that to the wort. After the grains have steeped like we did for 20 minutes, then it's now called wort, W-O-R-T. What that means, I have no idea. But we're going to start the boil now. Take a few minutes for this to start boiling. I'll give you a look at that so you can see what that looks like. This is after the water has steeped with the grains. We're getting it up to a slow rolling boil. We're still at about 160. But that's what it looks like so far. Well, the wort is about boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and add these 2 liquid malt extracts and the dry malt extract. This stuff is like molasses. It's a liquid, so but it's like molasses, real thick, dark. We got to get that in there and boil. Okay, we're boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but I'll try and stay out of the way. You got to kind of stir it continuously for the first couple of minutes so the thick molasses type extract doesn't just sit on the bottom and burn. So I get the water moving around quite a bit so it doesn't stick to the bottom.
And the newspaper today goes to you. You don't have any hormonal women you just made pissed off or made me cry. When you said pregnant women are disgusting. Me and my wife listened to your show, and you just happened to give your honor opinion while I was sitting there. Now she thinks she's disgusting. Good job. She is now forbidden to turn your show on. You douchebag. First of all, you tell that woman you're going to listen to whatever you want to listen to because you're an adult. No one should be forbidding you to do.
Try and get it all out.
Number 2, my son has to put his fingers in the sockets at all.
Without doing that.
Yes, he does. The other thing is, guess what? You don't look the best right now. Sorry, pregnant ladies, it's the truth. You know that you're a big giant mess. You have all kind of weird.
That's 1 down, 1 to go.
You're pregnant. That's just the way it goes. But you can't tell me that any woman who's beautiful has ever been who's pregnant. No, she's not. She's not. Sorry. That's the truth. Let's be honest. There's some people who are into pregnant chicks. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We tell the ladies that I'm hoping they won't rip our heads off. I just didn't say any of that. And when you tell me, like, oh, God, I'm so fat and disgusting, I'm like, well, you know, look, you're pregnant.
This is some thick, sticky stuff.
You know you're right. It'll be over when it's over. You'll have the baby, and then you can go back to your old self. Dude, it's funny. One of my buddies told me his wife just had their baby, and he told me the last time you were talking about this, he was like, dude, I can never tell my wife that she's beautiful when she's pregnant. Every time she gets up in the couch, she farts. I'm like, she does all these weird things. I think like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Pregnant women are doing gross stuff. They look gross. It's like this alien being is like bulging out of their gut. It's like, it's just weird. I'm sorry. That's the truth. Guys won't tell you that. Like, once you were into it, there are guys who are into the reading high heels, stepping on things that crunch, and that's getting all changed up and ready to go. People are into weird stuff. You know you don't look great.
All right.
Sorry. That's the truth. I know. I'd rather be a dude.
Got that done?
This guy is with the English man.
Now I'm going to go ahead and add the dry malt extract, which this is kind of tricky. Well, not really tricky, but when you put this in, this has a tendency to kind of foam up the first couple of minutes. So you have to stay right here and watch it. It'll overflow and bubble all over the place. So you got to kind of stir it, maybe remove it from the heat a second to let it settle. But it's not really that big a deal as long as you're standing here watching it. Here we go. And this is like a fine, sticky, sugary powder. Show you what that looks like. Okay, we got the liquid malt extract in there, the dry malt extract. That's what these big clumps are. It will dissolve shortly. You got to keep stirring it around a little bit, bring it back to a boil. And like I said, this stuff has a tendency to foam up. See how it's kind of foamy now? When it starts boiling, it'll really foam. But if you keep stirring it, it's not too bad. Big old clump there. And that's what brewing beer looks like as far as doing it with the kit. Okay, we're heating this back up to a boil still. Once we get it back to another gentle rolling boil, we're going to add the bittering hops, which is this. And that has a tendency to boil over as well, so keeps you entertained while you're brewing. We got this back to a boil. It's bubbling up pretty good. Don't know if you'll be able to see it now. It might be done. But it was foaming up. Had to keep removing it from the heat. It's done now. Yes. Yeah, how foamy it is now. Well, it was foaming up to where it would boil out of the pot, so you got to kind of remove it from the heat when it does that. Kind of getting up there again. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, I see that.
It's all good.
Probably can't see it from over there, but just remove it from the heat a couple times when it settles down, and then eventually all the, I guess all the air that gets out of there or whatever makes it foam up, and then it'll just boil. We have to add the hops, which I like to wait till it settles down because this has a tendency to boil over as well. So I like to make sure the malt extract is done doing its thing before I add the hops. Well, I got the hops in, and looks like it's done foaming up. It's really starting to smell good, like beer. Nice and hoppy. So that's what it looks like boiling. Okay, we're going to boil this for 40 minutes. Then we're going to add the flavoring hops and boil for another 20 minutes. After that, we're done boiling. Then we're going to cool the wort down in the sink with ice until we get it down to 75 degrees or so. And then we'll put it in the fermenting bucket, fill it up to 5 gallons with water, mix it up, put the yeast in, let it set for 3 weeks. Now the 40-minute boil got done. I put in the flavoring hops, boiling for another 20 minutes. After that, you stop the boil, put the whole pot in a sink full of cold water and ice, cool the wort down as fast as possible to around 65, 70 degrees. Then we're going to transfer the wort into our ferment bucket, which would be about 2.5 gallons in that pot or so. We're going to add water up to 5-gallon mark here. Probably can't see none of this stuff because of that window, but we're going to fill it up with water up to the 5-gallon mark, so we'll have 5 gallons of beer. We're going to pitch the yeast, and then it'll ferment. Leave it ferment for about 3 weeks, and we'll put it in the bottle after that. Let it sit for another few weeks in the bottle. Then it's beer time. The final boil is done. What we're going to do now is cool this wort down, and instead of just letting it sit on the stove and cool down, you want to cool it down as fast as you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the whole pot in this sink filled with ice water. Just like that. And we're going to keep adding ice. Got my thermometer here, and we need to get it down to 70 degrees or so. And then we're going to add that to the brew or the fermenting bucket to fill it up to 5 gallons. and she'll be fermenting. Okay, I got the wort cooled down to 75 degrees. What we're going to do now is put the wort
He's not like in Pig 6, like all over drinking at parties. He's not like Lindsay
in the fermenter bucket.
Probably needs to go to rehab. Like, oh man, go to Joe. Like, at the same time, he's such a rock star. Like, he's such a rock and roll
Without
star.
spilling it all over, hopefully.
How unpredictable and crazy the whole thing was. So maybe I'm the only one on that side of it. I like my rock and roll a little unpredictable. And yes, smash a guitar if you feel like you can.
We got to fill it up to the 5-gallon mark. With cold water. Don't know if you can see that or not. There's the 5-gallon mark right here. Then what we're going to do, we're going to pitch this yeast. Yeast need oxygen to do their thing. So what we're going to do is, as soon as we get this up to the 5-gallon mark, we're going to take this spoon and stir it up real good. Make sure the water that we're adding in is mixed in well. And we're going to kind of whip it around a little bit to try and get the liquid oxygenated. That way the yeast have a good time. Okay, we're up to about 4 gallons. Another gallon or so and we're good. Okay, I got this up to, don't need that anymore. Got this up to the 5-gallon mark. So, we're going to stir it up real good. Make sure that water gets mixed in real well. Try and oxygenate it real good. Now for the yeast. Yeast packet, yeast in there, and just sprinkle that all over like that. mixed in. See if I can do this without slopping it all over the floor. If I can get some oxygen in there as well.
First one is the Tuesday metric with Half Moon Run, October 2nd at the Passion, and the Buffalo with Walt J, Monday, October 8th at the Passion, and for an extra 500 right now, you're going to pick your tickets to one of these two shows, which is pretty cool. The keyword is choose, C-H-O-O, as we choose, like you choose your tickets. Very convenient.
Alright. I think we're mixed up pretty good. Now we're going to take this sanitized lid. Beastie Boys. Cool. Alright, then we take this airlock. This here is the airlock system. Inserts right here in this black grommet. We'll put a little water in there. Build up to about there. What that allows to do is it allows gas to escape without air entering. Put that on. There we go. Set this in the basement for 3 weeks. We'll come up here, bottle it up, and be beer time. Hopefully this video will inspire you to get you a beer kit and brew some beer. If you're a beer drinker, it's fantastic quality beer. If you like craft beer type beers, you'll love these kits. Now I almost forgot, one of the most important steps in brewing your own beer is drinking a nice cold beer. That's good. Who cares if it's 11 o'clock in the morning?